go. Hi.
Hello.
This is Esther.
And this is Dale, who's in a very, very hot, well, I've heard it's very hot in the UK. And this gentle wafting through my hair is a fan because it's far too hot.
And I don't have a fan, hence the shiny face. I'm very hot and sweaty.
So, you look okay. You look okay.
Yay for summer. I love summer. Could do with a bit of air in my house at the moment, though. But yeah,
I don't like summer. I like what we tend to have here is almost like two distinct seasons. So you go really, really freezing cold, and then you wake up one day and it's boiling hot. And you can't go out of the house. It's too hot for the dogs. I mean, I've just been for a walk, and luckily it's overcast, but it's absolutely horrid. Anyway, we're not here to talk about the weather. That's too British.
It's very British.
We're not going to talk about politics because that's too British.
We stay well clear of that.
Yes. Let's talk about creating a heart project. That's much
more fun. Yes, that's more like it. Let's talk about that. So you came up with the title for that, and I know that this is something that you were thinking about a lot lately. So why don't you start by talking about what inspired the title and what the heart project idea means to you, Dale?
Okay, so over the last however many years, whenever I've got to turn the fan back on. I'm sorry, I can't talk. I thought I might get away with not having it on, but literally I turned it off and I've melted. So literally, what's happened is every year I've looked and said, what are my 3 words for the year, and what kind of project would I like to do? And what happened this year? So last year, I was unable to work because of having a fractured spine and some other complications. So although I'd started the year thinking about a heart project, it actually didn't go anywhere. What I did is I spent the year healing. So this year, I started the year setting intentions and doing all sorts. And for whatever reason, the project didn't materialize until about 4 weeks ago. And what is really curious about this, I started the year with, my words, my intentions, and something felt stuck. And then what happened was I had an online meeting with somebody who did and said something that made me crash and burn. That's the only way I can describe it. It was, well, I won't say who it was or what they did, but they did something, and I just literally went, I can't do this anymore. I literally, I'm pushing up against a brick wall. And what came out of that, I journal a lot and I like to reflect. And I thought, well, I know what I need. I need to create a really quick project that's going to create some results. So I created, I created a journaling book in a day. I did it in a day. So I created this beautiful journaling and colouring in book, and I did it in a day. And it was so utterly delightful, Esther. I can't even begin to tell you. I sat there and I thought, when this turned up, so that's my proof book, and that's my real book. So when this turned up, I was going to say it was like having an orgasm, but I can't remember what that feels like anymore. And I'm joking. I don't take that bit out.
Edit.
No, don't edit out. Honestly, that feeling of utter, like you want to hold it to your face. This book turned up, and I thought, I am so in love with this book. And I've published other books. And some of those books I don't even have a copy. That's how much I wasn't excited by it. And you do these writing projects for whatever reason. But this book turned up and I thought, this is like really part of my heart and soul. So I thought, I want to do more of this. I love journaling. I love creating prompts and getting people really deeply connected to who they are. So I've now created a monthly journal, which is called Love to Journal. So the first one is now on Amazon. I'm actually going to tweak it to don't tell anyone. I'm going to do a couple of tweaks to it. I've got my September prompts, and they're split into 4 sections. I got to try and remember what I've done. So much work recently on these journals. That's my heart project, Esther. I adore book coaching because, when I work one-to-one with someone, we get deeply involved in the book. But doing these shorter projects, which are all about personal development and growth. I've got a product at the end of it. Oh, I'm in love.
You're so excited.
I am excited. And what is interesting is when I looked at numerology and I looked at what 2019 was, and some stuff that I read said, go back to 2017 and look at the seeds that you planted. And I'll start projects and I'll do a whole load of work and then I park them. They don't feel right. I don't really know how to take them forward. And when I look back to 2017 and all the stuff that I was creating, I thought, I planted these seeds all those years ago. And literally, when I created this, because I've got to show you again, got to touch it and feel it. When I created that, I had all the content. I had created all of the content. So literally, I think when you look at a heart project, it's not about what you can create in the moment. It's about looking back and going, what seeds have I planted? And what now looks like it wants to come to fruition. Mm-hmm. So, you might be going down a pathway like this, and there'll be something over here, and it'll be going, play with me. It's time. Mm-hmm. It's time. Come and bring me to life. And that's your heart project. And it'll really, really speak to your soul. It will truly.
Yeah. And it's that thing where you join the dots with hindsight, where you look back and then you can see, well, this has always been waiting for me.
Yes.
It's been waiting, it's been there, it's been showing up here and there and popping its little head up to say hi and then going again and then it comes back. I mean, that's the same thing. Marcus, did you lock the door? Sorry. I'm hearing strange noises in my house. I think I'm going to just decide it's Marcus.
You've got children and I've got dogs. So.
And I got one of those as well. She was jumping up on me about 5 minutes before we started talking too. So, but anyway.
Anyway, yes. Back to you.
So what I was saying is that with breathing and teaching breathing and that whole thing around the breath is, I look back and I can see throughout my life so many times where it's been a big challenge for me. It's been a problem for me where, there's always been this thing. I mean, I know I'm not the only person in the world who breathes. I'm very aware of that. But it's been this constant thread through my life that it's been such a either such a challenge or such a pivotal thing in my healing journey that it just keeps coming. And I mean, when I got this tattoo, it says, breathe there. Now, I wasn't thinking, I just decided on a whim to get a tattoo, went in and said, I want a reminder to breathe. I'm like, I'm going to forget. It just, that just, that was my first tattoo that I'd had in years. And it just like these little things that come up and all of a sudden you suddenly think, hang on, I think I'm being told something here.
But we don't listen to the signs. I mean, whenever I think of you, I always think of the breath and all of the beautiful things that you write about, how the breath impacts our entire life. So, and I guess when I look back, it's always been about writing and journaling. Books start as journals. Mm-hmm. Our life starts as a breath.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It is. It's constant. It's constantly there. Yeah.
So, and I wonder how many people there are that kind of feel stuck in the mud and haven't connected those dots together. They'll have done something and then gone off on different tangents. And actually, I think it's about, if we think about the breath, it's about taking that slow breath and looking around and going, what actually resonates if I stopped. If I stopped running around like a bloody headless chicken and looked at all of the stuff that I've created, what has brought me the most joy?
Yeah, it is, isn't it? But it's something that we don't always either feel that we have the almost the right to do, or that we're too busy to stop. We're too busy to take that time, and there's always that question of, but how do I make money doing this? Which comes up into, as soon as you think I'd love to do this, then it's but I can't make any money doing that, so I better not. Like I've been joking quite a lot recently that if I could spend my a working day every day out walking somewhere, I'd love to do that, but that's not a productive way to spend my life. And it's that always comes up, doesn't it? So whenever you're thinking about that thing that brings you joy, it's really hard to sometimes step out of the shoulds. It should be productive, it should be profitable. Sometimes you got to do things just because it brings you joy and not worry about.
I think there's something about this. We do have to have money because it's an energetic exchange for food, and if you have a mortgage and stuff like that. But I think if you look at your heart project and look at it from a spiritually prosperous perspective, as opposed to I have to make money at this, because when I started the journaling project, in the back of my mind there was all of this. I've gone to university, I've got a master's degree, I'm an executive coach, I had all of this, but I do this. Why am I writing journaling books? So I had a massive conflict, Esther. I can't even begin to tell you. There was just this conflict. And if this person hadn't have done this thing and I needed to just achieve something, I wouldn't have done it. And as I was doing it, I was thinking, I know that as I create my products and my courses and my journaling club, and each of these things, every morning I got up and I said to Spirit, tell me what I need to do tomorrow. Not how do I make money with this project. Spirit, guide me, tell me what I need to do tomorrow. And every morning I get up and I got this big journal with all these ideas and all this stuff. And so I've got a journaling club coming. I've got my monthly journaling books. I've got my quarterly big colouring and journaling books. I've got courses. And all of a sudden I thought, and I looked at it as a side hustle, as opposed to because my main business is book coaching. And I looked at it and all of a sudden I started thinking, this is so beautiful. This brings me so much joy. What if this was reversed? So I'm looking at it from a spiritually wealthy perspective, as opposed to how do I make money? I mean, yes, I have to build the website, you have to put the sales funnels in place, you have to have the products, you have to get out there and market it. But it's looking at it from a heart and a soul perspective. And I tell you, I think that when you bring that joy out and people go, I love it, that's infectious.
Yes.
And that's when the filthy lucre, the money, the stuff that goes into the bank account will start to come in.
Yeah.
It's looking at it in a different way. Honestly, in these last few weeks, my eyes have been opened and it's getting in a different way, and it's removing those limiting beliefs. I've done all these qualifications, therefore I shouldn't be doing that. Honestly, you have my other journal is full of all this stuff going, yeah, but you've done all that, training and all that hard work and all those qualifications. What are you doing creating journaling books? And it's like, actually, because I love it.
Yeah.
We're crazy cheekers.
Yes. Well, I don't think we'd be friends if we weren't both a little crazy.
A little bonkers.
Yes. Well, it's brilliant. I mean, watching you talk about this, you look so excited just talking about it. So I can't wait.
Esther, I am loving it. And it's and you know, like the September one, I've done the love to journal for August, and I've got my 4 themes there. So it's just trying to think what most: simplicity, smiling, friendship, and kindness. And then for September, it's abundance, prosperity, confidence, and impact. And it just flows. It's just, and I was sitting there the other day and I thought, what am I going to call all these journals? And I'd written something down about the fact that I loved to journal, and I thought, oh, they're called Love to Journal. It's just, it's flowing, and it's exciting. So I've got all of my book projects, I've got all my bloggy book projects and programs and stuff like that. They're not going away. But I needed to do this. I needed this heart project.
Yeah.
Like,
it seems to have really animated you, and that seems like a very fitting word given what the heart is. And it seems to have really given you a new lease of life, and so it's achieved its goal.
Do you know what is, you know, even though I talked about 2017, I think, you know, for anybody watching this, I think they need to go back further. I think they really need to go back and join all those dots. I started, I think it was about 2010, a project called A Million Stories Project. And it was around journaling and all of that. And it didn't go anywhere. And I was heartbroken at the time. You know, I set it all up and nothing happened. And I used to teach journaling a lot. And then I got into book coaching. And actually, when I look back, it's like everything, all these little projects I've done were all meant to come to fruition now. And I think, you know, like if anybody's watching this and thinking, well, I don't know what my heart project is, you know, whatever your spiritual belief system is, ask God, ask grace, ask the universe, ask spirit, sit with your journal, meditate on it, and whatever comes into your head, just keep making those notes. And then feel into it and feel, do you have that? You know, is your soul going, yep, that's it? You know, too often we go, oh, it's failed before. It's not. That failure that you think about is just feedback. It's just, it wasn't right at the time, and you know, need a little bit of tweaking, and it's almost like it needed to come to a vortex to explode right now.
Yeah, and there's lessons that you will have learned from the failures. Yeah. That you can apply the next time round, and then it'll be better. There's always improvements, isn't there?
And I think, you know, when someone comes and smacks you in the face, you know, I had this meeting with this person and I felt completely devalued. And honestly, I went and sat upstairs and I sat with the dogs and I cried. I just thought, how could you not value me? How could you disrespect me so much? And then when I woke up the following day, you know, I'd said, Spirit, you know, like, guide me. I woke up the following day and I went, oh, what a gift. I was angry. I had to work through the anger. I had to work through the forgiveness. I forgive you. So you know, you have to work through that stuff. But actually, you know, it's all about reframing those things and looking at it and saying, well, what is that person giving me as a message? You know, where am I not showing up for myself? Where am I not valuing my work?
Yeah.
What aspect of my work am I not valuing? And then, you know, picking yourself up by your boots, going, I don't want to cry anymore.
And I would imagine you did all that through journaling as well.
I did.
Furiously.
I tell you what, Esther, I've got journals everywhere. I start these journals and they're supposed to be about one thing, and I carry them around the house and they end up being all kinds. I got a cupboard over there, right? It's full of journals. I'm going to clear it out and I'm going to burn the lot.
Are you going to read them before you do that? Or are you just going to burn them?
Well, do you know what? It's really interesting, right? I was looking for some blank journals because one of the things I find really hard here, like when I was in the UK, I'd go into Tesco's or the works or somewhere like that and go, journals, come to mama. And I'd come home with, like, you know, can't walk home because I got so many journals in my bag. Well, they're rubbish. I can't, you know, I live in the sticks. So trying to find journals is quite difficult. Well, I went under the bed in my spare room and I found all these journals, which I bought in the UK, right? So that's how old they are. And I thought, oh, fantastic, I've got blank journals. Well, I opened up one of them and it was all about when I discovered Dickie Quick. That's the ex-husband, viewers. Discovered, it was the day after. It was the day after I discovered what Dickie Quick had been doing. Oh my goodness me. I mean, talk about naked. I'm not going to throw it away. I'm never going to burn it because there's this nakedness about that discovery. And there's not much in it because I obviously then went on to write stuff in other journals. So I will never destroy it. I'll never destroy and burn my osteoporosis journal. But what I'm going to do with those is I'm going to have a quick flick through, but I'm probably going to burn them. And I think because I need to energetically let them go. Like right at the moment, I'm writing a course, I'm recording a course, except I can't record it because of all these horrible cricket things making lots of noise and the microphone picks it up. But I'm recording a course about how to turn your journal into a book. And I think the journals that are meant to be turned into books, you won't burn. You'll. I'm just trying to think where my osteoporosis journals over there. So that the osteoporosis one, it was such a raw. You know, I've come through it, and I look back, and it was a gift. And when I read some of the stuff in there, you know, like I didn't want to be on the planet and whatever. I need to keep that, but some of that other stuff, it's just energetically, it needs to leave. Yeah. And I think we need to make those decisions about the journals. What do we do with the journal? Can we turn it into blogs and books, or do we put it on a great big fire and just allow that energy to go? I think they're going to go on the fire.
Yeah. Have you read Buddhist Boot Camp?
No.
Guy, because that book it's basically his journal, and he's done exactly that. He wrote a load of journal entries about what Buddhism means to him and how it impacted his life and how he lives because of his Buddhist beliefs. And he basically turned it into a book, and you can tell, you know, because there is intimate, personal quality. It's like he's sitting there. I mean, I've listened to it on audiobook.
Oh, wow.
It a few times because it's beautiful. And you really feel like he's talking to you. It's not something that has been edited until, you know, to be perfect or anything. It's got that raw, from the heart beauty that only a very unedited piece of writing by someone who's able to write well can, you know, it's wonderful. If you're not read it, I highly recommend it. I think you'd love it because it is exactly what you're talking about here.
Post it on the page, Esther, so other people can read it. That's a great idea. Great idea. Yeah. Well, I've got a blog open, and I've got some journaling prompts for people. And I don't know if you've got any journaling prompts on your blog, but I'm just gonna this is posted on the page, but I've got some journaling prompts for anyone who's listening. And this is about the heart connection. So my prompts are, what can you remember about the seeds that you planted? And that can be, for me, it was 2017 and all the way back to about 2010. What ideas does your heart want to come into your life? What could happen if you hang on, what have I written there? What would happen if you brought the heart into what you do instead of the mind? What intentions did you start the new year with, and how are they still relevant? And how does creating a healthy heart connection resonate with you? So I'm going to, excuse me, I'm going to post them onto our page as well.
Brilliant! Oh, brilliant! I will look forward to sitting with those and writing.
So do you have any prompts from the
No, I don't think I do. No, I wrote a blog post this morning.
I saw, yes.
but it wasn't journaling prompts. So I
Okay.
will maybe make that my next blog post, because I can definitely think of a few questions that I could put out. So I will do that. And then I can share it on the page when I've written it.
That would be great.
Yes.
Right. So I've just published those. I'll go and edit them to make sure that I've read them properly. It's been a long day. I was awake at 4 o'clock.
Oh, were you? Oh.
Oh, it's Esther. It's so hot that and Ferdy keeps barking, because I don't know what he's barking at, but he's barking at something. So he's waking me up. But the first thing I do when I wake up, after I realise that it's the middle of the night, is journal.
Oh, wow.
Oh, so no, I always...
3 o'clock British time, and you were journaling.
I've got no idea what. It's interesting. I often, I'll journal when I go to bed. I'll journal if I wake up in the middle of the night, and I often never, I'll go back and read some of this stuff. But for me, I like to burn it and burn the energy.
Sounds a good thing to do, yeah. I did have a journal that I quite enjoyed, just ripping at one point. Just ripping.
Yeah. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, that was quite therapeutic.
But I tell you what would be great for anyone watching is go and get yourself a journal. I call it a journal for the journey. And have this, so it's all about creating heart connections and thinking about what it is that you want to bring to fruition. And it is connect to your muse, talk to God, talk to grace, the universe, spirit, it's whatever is your spiritual connection. But have a journal that is just about that heart connection. And then when you get to the end of the year, it would be really good if we reviewed how the heart projects went.
Yes.
Because I think, go on.
I'll do that. I'm sure I've got a notebook that's probably almost empty somewhere, lying around somewhere. So I do that.
But think about this, right? If we've got this so my heart project is all around journaling. So I've got quarterly journaling books, which will be the Colour My Life. I've got monthly journaling books, which are the Love to Journal. And I'm just creating a series of journals that you can scribble in. I know, and I've got courses, and I'm gonna run live courses and all sorts of stuff. And this literally just came from that one book. So when I get to the end of my year and I look back, I think I'm going to be quite astounded by what comes up. I mean, you put the website up; it's not even finished yet. I keep writing. Well, it's as perfect as it can be right at this moment because I haven't launched it. I keep writing things are coming soon.
Is it not official yet? Should I have not done that?
No, you do it. It's fine. I know. I've been posting a couple of blogs and.
Yes, you have. Yes, I saw one. Yeah.
I always think we can sit here and we can do all of these build these sales funnels and bits and pieces, but I think sometimes just let it in the wild.
Yeah.
But I think for the people watching, anyone who's feeling a little bit stuck, get a journal, and I call it a journal for the journey. And I want you to think about this, is answer some of those questions, read yours and my blogs and see how that resonates. And don't dismiss anything, whatever, when you go to bed at night and you ask a question, whatever those answers are in the morning, put it in your journal. Feel into the heart and start to think about, like I said, I had all this, I got all these qualifications, and this is what I do for my day. I mean, I love my day job. This is what I do. Find what is lying underneath those limiting beliefs. And I want to challenge people. Journal for the journey, heart project, and I would be really interested to know if at the end of the year you could turn this journal into a book. Now, that could be a journaling book. So, you know, creating prompts out of the stuff that's come up for you. This could be a memoir, because a memoir is just a slice of life. This could become a how-to book, a self-help book with a bit of your personal story. This could be, if your heart project, for example, is traveling, whether that's traveling inside or going to different places, traveling book. If it's recipes, so if you suddenly go, do you know what? I might be an executive coach, but actually I love cooking. End of the year could be a recipe book. There are so many things that you could do. So I want to leave that with you, that get connected to, I'm gonna call it spirit, but get connected to whatever it is, your God. Have a journal for the journey. And when we talk in 6 months, it would be great to see if anyone's got ideas that they could turn that into a book.
Yeah.
And what I'll do is I'm doing the How to Turn Your Journal into a Book course now. Remind me in 6 months, and I will give some of those courses away to anyone who shares their book idea.
Oh, fantastic. Well, that is quite an offer. So there, if you're watching and you think, oh, that's a good idea, and I think I'll do that, just remember to let us know. And
no, I made a promise.
You've made a promise. It's on video.
Okay, well, I think that's a wrap, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, I think so. We've managed to almost stick to time, which is probably a
I said to my mum, I said, I'm going to talk to my friend Esther and we're going to talk about heart projects. I said, I know what's going to happen. I said, we're going to try not to talk about Boris and the UK government and world politics and all of those things. We're going to try and stick to the subject. I said, but once we get talking, that's it. We're done. So we have to say, time out. It's a wrap.
Time is done. It's done. That's it. That's brilliant. Well, I'm going to dig out a journal book, and I'm gonna take your advice and see what comes up. I think those first thoughts in the morning might be, no, I don't want to get up, or it might be something a little bit more interesting. Who knows?
Listen, it's not about like listening at the noise of a fan. I mean, you know this. It's that inner voice. Yeah. I was going to say, stick your website up so people can find.
Yeah. Well, here it is. I'm just gonna share. I wrote a blog post this morning.
Great.
I haven't written anything much for about a week or so. So this morning I wrote a blog post about my heart project, which is the one I keep coming back to all the time, no matter how much I try and go off and do anything else. I always come back to the fact that I love teaching breathing. So that's what I'm posting. And so there's a blog post there that I wrote this morning,
right,
which is all about how learning to breathe can transform your well-being. And yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed writing it. So yay, I'm back to writing.
So now, just before we go, isn't that interesting that when you write something that brings you that joy, it flows? You know, when I write things on Book Brand Business, you know, I write a lot of how-to stuff because, you know, people are looking about how to write books and, you know, how to do this and how to do that. Whereas on journaling online, I can write about anything I like.
Yes.
And it's, you know, very pleasurable. Anyway, Esther, so we're going to wrap up now. We're going to be back next week. We have currently, I have no idea what the project is. I think it's your choice next week.
Okay. I will have a think. I'll see what comes up in my next journaling.
Well, you need to let me know so I can write a blog.
Yeah, I will.
Cool.
I will. I'll speak to you soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye.